Yeah,
Yeah.
it's going to be a good one. Potentially the last one
I think
of
so.
day two, but
Maybe.
we'll see, kind of see where things go. We got Liam with us. Liam, if you would, real quick, just give us your name, who you're with, and what you do.
Yeah. My name's Liam Terrence. I'm a partner and the spatial general manager at Bennett Bennett, and based on the east coast of Australia.
Awesome.
I heard that's where all the magic happens, is on the east coast of
on the East
Australia.
Coast. There you go. There you
Yeah,
go.
no, it's the place to be. We've got the Olympics coming in 2032.
Oh,
and,
that's right.
Yeah, we're getting everything ready for it. So,
Yep. So are you like, where do you live then?
I personally live on the Sunshine Coast, which is 1 hour north of Brisbane.
Brisbane, okay.
Got
it.
Yeah, our business is sort of southeast Queensland focused, which Brisbane, Sunshine Coast, Gold Coast, and then we're in sort of the northern New South Wales area as well.
Yeah, that's exciting. I know we had a couple people on, I think, in the past from Bennett and Bennett.
I think so.
And I know we really enjoyed that conversation. So talk a little bit about the company first and foremost.
Yeah.
Just a little bit of background about it. A little bit about the culture and just why you love working there, basically.
Yeah. So look, Bennett Bennett started by two brothers on the Gold Coast back in the 60s, and yeah, like essentially started doing a lot of the high-rise construction when the Gold Coast sort of boomed in the 60s and 70s.
Yep.
And so that's sort of our roots. And recently we've grown significantly. In fact, even doubled in size over the last 3 years.
Wow.
And we've got now we're 250 staff.
Nice.
Definitely the largest surveying company in Queensland and one of the largest in Australia.
Yeah, that's exciting.
Is it primarily surveying? Is that your core business?
Yep. So look, we're essentially a third property development, which is cadastral surveying, town planning, and then it's construction surveying is a third of the business. And then the other third of the business is in, I think, spatial and geospatial data acquisition, which is essentially my area.
Yeah. And what talk about what you're seeing here that's getting you really excited about the newest and greatest technology.
Yeah, look, I think we've come so far in terms of hardware over the last 10 years, really. And I feel like there's always room for innovation, but I feel like most of the innovation is in the software
side,
and the processing. And like already we're spending, well over 50% of the time office-based rather than field-based now. And so, I think it's improving any of our sort of software workflows and essentially getting the most out of the data.
Yeah, for sure. Then that's been a common theme of most everybody we talk to, because it's cyclical, right? Like it's either the hardware is catching up to the software or the software is catching up to the hardware. But it seems pretty common. What everybody's saying is we're at a point where software is definitely catching up to the hardware.
Well, and I don't think that we've been able to utilize some of the advances in hardware in the last 10 years because of the limitations on data, what can talk to what and what can handle what. And I'm sure you guys how's your experience been in managing these larger data files? I mean, I'm sure that's been evolving in the last 5-10 years.
Yeah, well, the good thing is obviously the computer hardware has come a long way. So, and obviously so is file sizes. I feel like everything's all growing, but we can manage the data a lot easier now, and there's obviously a lot of cloud solutions and things that do make it a lot more convenient. But there's a cost. Like we're capturing terabytes and terabytes of data, and just the cost to manage that data, and that's the big challenge at the moment. To we want to do reality capture on every single project. We're capturing mass amounts of data, but to store and manage all of that data,
is it really worth it?
Yeah, and so that's the challenge. And then so sometimes we've actually kind of been either scaling down or been very aggressive in terms of, we're gonna get what we need and throw this data in the bin afterwards. So
so you mentioned that Bennett and Bennett like doubled in size in the last 3 years.
Yeah.
Is it challenging finding people in Australia that fit the mold of what you guys are looking for?
Yeah, so and I think that's probably the biggest success and what I'm most proud of in our business is we've got like in terms of we've been very successful in recruiting, but we're also ones where we've got to step up and leadership program where we develop from within. So we filter in from the bottom, get people in young, train them up. We invest a lot into training and things, and essentially that's really helped us sort of grow as a business, just filtering people. And all of our, I would say 90% of our business leaders have all grown up through the business. They've all sort of, come through. I've been at the business 17 years myself, and started as a trainee, and in fact, even our board of directors have sort of done exactly the same.
Yeah, that's awesome. What do you think what like? So you've been surveying for how long? You said?
I've been surveying for almost 20 years.
20
I
years.
started when I was 15.
15,
I
wow.
left school and started. I left school early. Started surveying when I was 15, and did uni sort of online while working full time, and so I got an early start.
There you go.
Sounds like it.
Yeah. What do you think the skill set of a modern surveyor should look like? And you can even compare it to when you started surveying 20 years ago.
Yeah, look, I think first of all, we've got in the different streams. I feel like to be a very good cadastral surveyor is maybe different to a construction surveyor versus in the spatial sense. In the spatial sense, I feel like you need to understand, have at least a minimal understanding of IT, of software. I feel like you can't just go, oh, I'm a surveyor, I don't know how computers work.
Yeah, not anymore.
No, that's a big part of the role. And I think that's what that's really positive when we're seeing a lot of, because we're quite a young company, we've got a lot of young people working for us, and it's really positive to see this next gen coming through that, wow, they're just finding stuff so intuitive that it took me a long time to learn. I never started, but that I was doing everything manually, manual total stations and all that when I started. So it's good to see.
Yeah, that's exciting. So what is this like in Australia? You guys have like city surveyors and country surveyors, right? Something like that.
Yeah, I guess so. So look, the way that our business runs is in terms of our local offices, we're city surveyors really, is how, really everyone that's based out of those offices are, they live in cities, they're generally work in urban environments. But we also do a lot of remote works as well. And so we've actually got a separate team, our major projects team, that work all over Australia, and they're the country. And so, we do have the major projects team, which is they're the ones that like to get the boots dirty and get out and push.
Yeah. So are most of your survey crews then, are they equipped with a scanner of some sort? So they have what does your typical crew look like as far as equipment? Do they have a drone? Do they have a scanner? Do they have a robotic tool station? They've got GNSS. I mean, they've got it all.
Yeah. So I guess in the cadastral surveying, it's generally it's a jigger and that's all you need. And probably in the construction surveying, it's a jigger and sometimes a GNSS. But in the spatial sense, it's everything. If we need to do static networks, we've got GNSS there to set up your control, total stations, digital levels. We've got every single type of terrestrial scanner. We've got SLAM scanners. We've got mobile laser scanning systems, airborne systems, drones.
You guys are on the cutting edge.
Look, I feel like we've come a long way. We certainly weren't early adopters 10 years ago.
So what changed? Other than your impeccable leadership?
Oh, I'm just going to say it's all me. No, look, essentially we've been open-minded.
Okay.
Like as much as I'm at Hexagon and I'd love to say we're entirely Hexagon, we absolutely are in the terrestrial scanning space and things, but we're agnostic. We use the best tool for the job. We've been open-minded. We're always challenging the best way to do things, and also it's about doing more with less. There's skills shortage. It's really, even though we've been successful with recruiting, we've never had enough staff.
Right.
And so, how can we do more with less? How can we give the client better value? And how can we increase those profit margins? That's what it's all about.
Yep. Yeah, no doubt.
So talk a little bit more about this conference. You come to this one a lot. What are some of the highlights you've seen so far in the last few days?
Yeah, so I've been once before, back in 2017. I did a talk back then. And I'm speaking again this afternoon, in an hour or so. Yeah, so look, I've been once before, but highlights, look, to me, it's about the people. It's about networking. I've met some guys from the US that are very similar role to me, similar challenges to me. We could really relate on a lot of things. There's quite a big contingent from Australia and New Zealand that have come over.
Yeah.
And Australia's a big country. We don't all get together that often. So it's actually good, even though we've all flown the other side of the world. I'm actually networking with all these people in Australia that, that are from, either the West Coast or from down Sydney and Melbourne and stuff.
Sure.
I don't generally see. So yeah, to me, it's about networking.
Definitely. Good place for that, for sure.
Yeah, nice.
What else? Anything else you want to get out there before we let you go? This has been a great conversation.
No, look, and I'm first to admit that I only recently found out about your podcast. So I'm actually almost keen to go back and listen to some episodes to get a bit of an insight of what you're talking about, because I'm a bit of a survey nerd and I think geospatial. I love it.
Well, you are our target audience.
Yes,
Liam, I can tell you that. What does Bennett do well versus their competitors? So we talk about your company a little more. You said it's based from a couple guys started it several years ago. Like, what do you really do well now?
Look, I think we're certainly trusted to provide all round like solution. Like we're very diverse in terms of we're just as strong in cadastral surveying than we are in construction surveying, and that we are in the spatial sense. Literally a third of our business is in each. And look, we do focus on the larger scale projects. We're not typically doing a lot of your sort of mum and dad 1 and 2 subdivisions and those smaller scale projects. So we do the bigger end of town, and we really try to wrap ourselves around the client and cover all bases.
Was that always the plan, to have it be well diversified as far as market sectors in your company?
Yeah, look, that's been part of our strategic goals, essentially. Both essentially it's managing risk as well. Like, because, there's certainly times when there's the property market is flatter, but there's all this government spend on large infrastructure projects, so we want to be able to capitalize on what's going on.
Yeah, that makes a lot of sense.
Yes, it does. All right, good stuff. Anything else?
No,
Ready
I'm
to
good.
wrap this up?
Maybe.
I'm glad you saved the best to last.
Yeah, exactly. I was
absolutely.
just going to say that. Thanks, Liam. Safe travels as well.
Yeah, appreciate it. Thanks.
Thanks.
Thanks, guys.